Hey, everybody, and welcome back to episode 43 of the Nine Frames podcast. It is Monday, October 30th, 2023. I am Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us on YouTube at Nine Frames Podcast. Our X is at Nine Frames Pod, and our Spotify is Nine Frames. The first couple games of the World Series has gone by with the weekend, and it's been competitive, man.
Yeah, as we expected, both of these teams have absolutely clawed and just beaten better teams along the way to get here, and we both kind of figured that it wouldn't stop.
Yeah, it should be a really fun World Series. We're going to recap Game 1 and 2 for you guys and set you up for the beginning of the week here. And it seems to be a back-and-forth fight.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the remainder of the series after seeing how the first two went. It looks like it's going to be a fun one, which is what baseball needs. We need another very fun World Series to get people excited for next year. And it's also nice to see that I know a lot of people were complaining about how it's not as big of a market for both of these teams. I guess Texas is still pretty big. I don't know why people are saying that.
Yeah, it can't get much bigger than Dallas, you know?
They're assuming Houston's a big market, but Texas isn't because of the fan base. I mean, no fan base is going to show up when they're not winning.
Right.
You know, no one's going to pay to see a bad team.
They're all there now, and Texas was electric for Game 1 and 2.
Yeah, they've had full stadiums every home game, albeit they've had, 4 home games?
Yeah.
5. I mean, they've only had, a couple home games in the postseason so far. But their fans have shown out, and them being in the World Series is going to help spring the fan base, I think, for both teams.
Yeah, you would think it's got to, knowing that these teams are capable of this, you got to want to watch them.
And it's nice to see the turnover in baseball that two teams that had over 100 losses just 2 years ago can battle their way all the way to the big dance.
Yeah, very impressive bounce back by both of these franchises, and all respect to them. Let's get right into the World Series now.
Game 1 of the World Series was set to begin on Friday as the Rangers host the Arizona Diamondbacks. And what we've already said is a very under-the-radar World Series. Nobody thought it was going to happen.
No, not teams that were picked. These were considered middle-of-the-line teams at the beginning of the year, and now they're the last two standing, fighting for the trophy.
Yeah, nobody really put them here, but they're both here. So let's get into the first game. The matchup would be Zach Gallen, the ace of the Arizona Diamondbacks, taking on Nathan Eovaldi for the Texas Rangers, who has absolutely shoved for them the entire postseason, and honestly, his entire postseason career.
Yeah, Gallen been struggling a bit. Eovaldi cannot say the same.
Yeah, like you just said, Gallen did struggle a little bit in the NLCS against the Phillies, but he did look to rebound in this game against a great Texas lineup who just does not stop hitting.
Yeah, not an easy task.
Never. Unfortunately for Zach Gallen, the Rangers would get to him early as Evan Carter hits his 7th double of the postseason. Still hitting 3. He is also officially I believe, the second youngest 3-hitter in the history of World Series,
Very
behind
impressive.
Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, if they're playing a righty, he's right in the middle of that lineup for sure.
Yeah, right in the 3-hole. So he hits an RBI double to score Corey Seager, who's having another fantastic postseason, to make it 1-0, followed by an Adolis Garcia, who we can't say enough about. He singles in Carter to make it 2-0. Adolis Garcia, with that single, breaks the all-time postseason, a single postseason RBI record with 22 and counting.
Yeah, he's having an absolutely insane October run. He's going to be a Texas legend by the time this is said and done.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to hammer out an extension with him in the offseason and just avoid the next couple years of ARB.
Yeah, he's definitely still got how many times? 4 years?
I think it's 3 years.
After
26, he's a free agent or something.
So I don't know how the team will manage that, but that's your ALCS MVP, and he adds another RBI here.
Yeah, if I was them, I'd think to get the pen to the paper as soon as possible with him.
Yeah, he gives Texas, the Texas already had the lead, but he extends that to 2-0 early.
Yeah, it gives them a nice pad for, like I said, Nathan Eovaldi, who you could argue between him and Montgomery, who's been their ace this postseason. I won't argue with either of them, honestly. I'll take both as a viable answer. They've both been fantastic. But Eovaldi looked to continue his torrid postseason career. But the answerbacks, the Arizona answerbacks, they would continue to live up to their name, and Corbin Carroll would hit an RBI triple to score a 2 RBI triple, in fact, in the top of the 3rd, as well as a Ketel Marte. he grounds the ball over to first base to Nate Lowe. We were watching this game, so you remember. And Lowe decides he's going to go home to try to get Carroll at home instead of taking the force out at first base. And the throw was late. It was a little bit up the line, and Carroll slides in safe to give the D-backs a 3-2 lead all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he felt like he had a chance at getting him at the plate. It didn't really look very close.
I think if he makes a good throw, there's a solid chance he could have got him, but he threw it up the third base line a little bit and made Heim stretch. And with Carroll's speed, I mean, you can't make many mistakes.
Yeah, a bit of a mental lapse there, but he did what he thought was the best play.
So the D-backs take a 3-2 lead in the third inning, and Zach Gallen would go out. He would look great, man. He was on a 4-strikeout streak, and then he ran into a wall where he just lost the zone. He walks a couple people in a row, a little bloop hit, and then he walks the bases loaded Mitch Garver has the bases loaded. It was a 3-2 count, and Gallen loses him to walk in the tying run 3-3 in the bottom of the third.
The pressure was getting to Gallen in this spot, and he didn't step up the way that his team needed him to hold it down here.
You absolutely never want to give away free runs like that. You want to make them earn it. And
especially after Texas gives you what seems like a free run on the other side.
Yeah, you finally take the lead. I mean, it was early, but you overcome an early 2-0 lead, and you just give it right back up on a walk. It's kind of tough.
Definitely.
Luckily for the D-backs, Tommy Pham, who he's been really, really good for them since they picked him up. He homers his third of the postseason off of Eovaldi the next half inning. So there they go, answering back again to make it 4-3. And then in the next half inning, in the top of the fifth, Marte would double, Ketel Marte, his sixth of the postseason, to extend his hit streak to 18 consecutive games to start his postseason career, and that is an MLB record.
Yeah, it's insane. I was going to say, you can never see a guy that's that hard to get out in October. Quite literally, we never have.
Yeah, I mean, 18 games in a row to start your postseason career is just absolutely insane. And he keeps the D-backs rolling, and they put up 5 on Nathan Eovaldi, and that would close the book for him. His final line would be 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. So he wasn't terrible, but...
There goes my World Series MVP pick, though.
Yeah,
that wasn't that type of performance.
No, they definitely wanted him to be better. But the D-backs offense just really kept at it and kept answering back every time they got punched.
Interesting to see how both of the AL and NLCS MVPs, they're still all over the World Series here, staying hot.
Mm-hmm. Gallen and the Arizona Pen would contain the Texas offense until the bottom of the 9th inning when they called on Paul Sewald, who has been perfect this postseason, has not blown a save. He's looked great, as we've said multiple times on this pod.
No runs to this point.
So he was on to close it, and Corey Seager, who, I mean, he's my World Series pick, the MVP pick. Mm-hmm. He absolutely tattoos a fastball that was up and out of the zone for a game-tying 2-run home run, his 4th of the postseason, with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning to make it 5-5.
Yeah, if this is a series the Rangers end up taking, then Corey Seager, as of right now, is the World Series MVP favorite after such a huge swing here. It's wild to see when someone knows they got it. As soon as he hit the ball, he was screaming. Yeah, he knew that this thing was gone.
You can feel it off the bat. If there's not much of a feeling, you know you got it. I mean, it was a second decker. He destroyed the ball.
Definitely.
Both bullpens would give their teams a scoreless 10th frame because there is no free runner at second base in the postseason. So Leclerc and I believe I forgot who it was for the D-backs that pitched that 10th inning. It was Kyle Nelson, who had taken over in the 9th inning. He comes out for the 10th. They both give scoreless innings. And then in the 11th inning, Miguel Castro would take the mound for the D-backs with big Adolis Garcia in the box. Garcia would work the count to 3-1. And he would hit a walk-off solo blast, his 8th home run of the postseason, to win Game 1 6-5 in 11.
Yeah, massive home run. It is wild to see how this guy is just made for the big lights.
That home run from Garcia gives him a homer in 5 straight postseason games, which is one game behind Daniel Murphy's record he set with 6 in a row back in 2015 for the Mets.
Yeah, just a run you don't see very often, as you said. Haven't seen one since 2015, and that's the record.
Yeah, so Texas gets out of there with a 1-0 lead after their big guns play hero ball with the long ball, which they've done so often this year. And they're feeling good going into Game 2.
Seager and Garcia coming up big, coming up late, and the Rangers take Game 1 here. Disappointing game for Seawald in Arizona. We picked this right up in Game 2 on Saturday night as Arizona looks to respond to a tough loss. Like I said, 3 outs away from that Game 1 win, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they needed Paul Sewald to just do what he's done, but unfortunately he ran into the beast that is Corey Seager.
Mm-hmm. They head home after Game 2 here, so a split here would be pretty crucial.
You see what David Ortiz called Corey Seager? He asked why you would work around Simeon, who's been struggling so much, or in Tavares at the bottom of the lineup, and then you give a cookie to the Cookie Monster, and he destroys the ball.
I mean, it's hard to say that he's not, man. If you throw something in the wheelhouse to Seager, he'll make you pay, and he does that.
So Seager's new nickname I guess he's been deemed by Big Papi as the Cookie Monster.
I wonder if people run with that.
It'll be pretty funny to see that if they do, but yes, this is a very crucial game for Arizona to not go down 2-0.
Definitely. Game 2 here is Montgomery, who has been really de facto ace for the Rangers. Didn't pitch Game 1, probably because he pitched in Game 7 out of the pen.
Yeah, he got the win out of the pen in Game 7, so that's definitely why they gave. We thought that maybe they would give him a little bit more of a rest and start Scherzer Game 2.
Yeah, possibly, but
no.
They don't do that.
Yeah, they went back to Monty.
And he'll be taking on Merle Kelly as both look to stay solid in the postseason. And they do just that, man. Both of them start with shutout 3 innings. Texas gets no base runners in those 3 innings, and Arizona just gets 1 third-inning single by Alek Thomas through the order the first time. Pretty impressive by both these pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it from Montgomery all postseason, and Kelly as well. We were talking about it. It seems like every time Gallen struggled a little bit in this postseason, Kelly would come out and step up the next night and just absolutely shove.
Huge to pick your teammates up, and that's what Merle Kelly's been doing all postseason.
For a guy that got drafted by the Rays, never got the call, got DFA'd, nobody wanted him, so he went to Korea, and then he comes back, joins the D-backs in 2019, and now he's just pitching in the World Series.
Yeah, we will touch more on his Korean history a little bit later in this episode, actually, because it's very impressive what he's done here.
Yeah, he's had a long journey, that guy.
For sure. And Arizona is the first to strike, which is a big story in this postseason and definitely the championship series before the World Series. Arizona gets to Montgomery a bit in the 4th. They get a Gabriel Moreno solo homer, his 4th of the postseason.
That guy.
Yeah, really stepping up for his team. And then a combo of Tommy Pham double and Lourdes Gurriel RBI single scores him. That'll make it 2-0 Arizona in the middle of the 4th.
Tommy Pham just continues to stay on a great postseason run. Since they took him out of the 3-hole and flipped him and Moreno, I feel like it's benefited both of them, and it's really put a jolt into this lineup.
Very true. Texas struck first in Game 1 in a similar spot in the game with a 2 spot of their own, so huge for Arizona to get that this time.
Definitely. Tommy Pham also, I'm just going to touch on it real quick. He had a really good game.
Yeah,
in this game too.
Really has stepped up since coming to the Diamondbacks as a clutch player for them.
Game 2 specifically, though, was his game, I would say. He was fantastic in Game 2.
Yep, very true. Texas will not touch Merle Kelly until the bottom of the 5th, where they get a Mitch Garver solo bomb, really majestic shot to cut the lead in half, 2-1 Arizona. That Garver shot, man, that's clearly just a fastball in his wheelhouse, and he turned on that thing.
Yeah, and it's really nice for a guy like Garver to keep it going. He has the second most RBI on the Rangers in the postseason, only behind Garcia, who's had a historical postseason. So Garver's very important for the Rangers' success, and nice to see him get the crowd back into it a little bit, cutting the deficit in half.
Yep, nice game for Garber. Not nice game for the Rangers in general, though.
Yeah.
That's all they get from Merle Kelly in this game. He smothered them all night long. 7 innings pitched, only 3 hits, one of them being that solo homer. Doesn't give up a walk all night and only 1 run on the solo, like we said. That's pretty impressive, man. After this, He is 3-1 with a 2.25 ERA in 24 innings pitched. He's got a .83 WHIP.
Yeah, that's somebody who's absolutely stepped up for a team that is now just 3 wins away from a World Series. We'll get into the end of the score here, but the story of this game was just Texas did not hit the ball at all.
No, not at all.
4 hits on the night.
Yeah, really bad stuff. The D-backs keep it rolling as well, where Texas turns to their pen, doesn't work out for them.
Floodgates open for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they get 2 more off Montgomery in the 7th. I'm not sure why he was out there in the 7th. He doesn't get an out in the 7th inning.
Yeah, it didn't really. I know his pitch count was low, but in the World Series, you got to overmanage a little bit. And I mean, who am I to criticize Bruce Bochy? But
Wasn't a great move to keep him out there, and it didn't pan out. He goes 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 1 walk, not 1 strikeout.
Yeah,
0 strikeouts.
That'll hurt you too. I mean, we've seen people be able to get it done without the strikeout ball before, but 0 in a game is very tough.
Yeah, he gives up 4 runs over those 6 innings, and it is now 4-1 Arizona in the 7th inning. The 8th and 9th were no different. Texas's bullpen was not good in this game.
No.
Chris Stratton goes 2/3 of an inning and gives up 1 run, and Martin Perez goes 1 inning and a third and gives up 4 runs, man.
We haven't really seen Martin Perez much this postseason.
Weird for him to come out and then get bombed like that. I don't think we'll be seeing him again, maybe.
I think once the game was already out of hand, they kind of just put him out there to eat up innings, and hopefully they're just going to try to rebound tonight.
Yeah, credit Ketel Marte for a 2 RBI single there, and then Corbin Carroll with an RBI single of his own. And in the 9th inning, Emmanuel Rivera scores 2 more with a single of his own.
Yeah, so now it's 9-1. I mean, the floodgates have completely opened. Texas basically punted away the rest of the game once they brought out Martin Perez and Chris Stratton. Those are guys that usually aren't going to get big innings, like the important innings. So once you see them, you kind of view it as a little bit of a white flag.
It's still a 4-1 game at that point, though.
I understand, but, I mean, you can't keep using all the same relievers, I guess, and these guys just the Texas pen really isn't that deep.
No, very true. They could use that off day that they do get on Sunday.
Past Leclerc, Chapman, Spores, I mean, Smith's been kind of rough.
Bradford's not great. I don't know, man.
They really could have used some work. I mean, they're in the World Series, so these guys just need to step up for 3 more games.
D-backs win Game 2, 9-1 in Texas, as the series will head to Phoenix to start the week now. Texas had just 4 hits all game, like you said, 5 base runners total, and the series is tied 1-1.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games in the postseason with 4 hits and 5 base runners total, especially when your pen's doing what the Rangers bullpen did in Game 2.
No, the bats wake up or it'll be too little too late, Texas. Definitely a big statement game for Arizona after losing in extras.
Yeah, and that's just what that's also been the theme of the postseason is you need to respond after a loss, and we've seen that from both of these teams. I mean, they both went on the road in Games 6 and 7 and took both games to get here, so they know how to deal with adversity, and it was nice to see the D-backs not roll over.
Definitely, and it's going to be interesting to see how Texas responds because we have a very interesting pitching matchup today. It is the struggling future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer versus the confident rookie Brandon Pfaadt. Tough to say who has the edge here.
I mean, I'm just going to say I think the edge goes to the D-backs.
Hard to pick against Pfaadt and the D-backs right now in this matchup, but man, Scherzer's got to get it under control and show signs of his former self.
Yeah, Pfaadt's looked incredible, and it's really awesome for him to be able to start that first game back in Arizona in the World Series in 22 years. Against a surefire Hall of Famer too. It's such a cool moment for him. I hope he takes it all in.
See because it seems like Lovello is growing in his faith of Pfaadt, and the faith that Texas has in Scherzer is definitely diminishing.
Yeah,
he's had a very short leash in his last 2 starts.
Rightfully so on both of them, though. I mean, in Game 7, it's pretty fair for Scherzer to have a short leash, and he didn't. I mean, he just hasn't looked that great. He's coming off of a 5-week injury, so you're not really sure even how much you're going to get out of him.
This is why they traded for him. He needs to bear down for this team right now, or it might be too late.
This is the biggest start of his season by far.
He gets a rubber game here.
Yeah, if you take a 2-1 lead, I mean, Texas has been phenomenal on the road. They've yet to lose a road game this postseason, so they're going to look to continue to to continue that trend. Yeah,
Very true. Yep. And then Game 4 Tuesday currently is TBD versus TBD. Just going off what we've seen for these teams, it's probably going to be some form of tag team start for Texas with the Heaney and Dunning combo. Both times they've had to do this, they went with Heaney for the start.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they try to give John Gray a chance too, because he looked great out of the bullpen in that game one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if it was John Gray either. Them bringing him out of the pen in game one kind of deters me.
He's had a little bit of a rest though.
That might be his role for this postseason, though,
Maybe.
is to keep coming out of the... And he might be the guy
Yep.
who comes out of the pen to relieve Scherzer tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing, starting Heaney, giving him a short leash, and going to Dunning for a spot start.
Yeah, they might just be using Gray as a safety net for if their starters don't look great, which is fair. I mean, he looked great out of the bullpen anyway, so
Right.
if you have that weapon, use it.
And the only time that Arizona had to go 4 games this entire postseason, they went to Joe Mantiply, which I guess they would just do again. They've been using Mantiply throughout the postseason regularly as well, so it's weird to give them that spot start also.
I don't know who they're going to use, but
Maybe they go Nelson, maybe they go Mantiply, but there's really not much
It'll be
else
an
of an
opener.
option. Yeah.
It'll definitely be a bullpen day in Game 4 for the Diamondbacks, which has definitely worked for them this far. So,
And not for nothing, the way the Rangers used that combo of Heaney and Dunning, it's essentially an opener on their side too.
very true. So, I mean, that just makes this game that much more important.
And Game 4 will probably be greatly on the way that the bats respond.
Definitely. And then, I mean, Game 5 right after it,
Yeah.
you'd got to think goes back to the same Game 1 matchup of Eovaldi and...
Yeah, that's the blueprint. It probably goes back
Gallen.
to Eovaldi and Gallen would have to get back under control, man.
Yeah, I mean, his team had a chance in this last one. They kind of caved late. I mean, it wasn't his fault that they lost. He could have turned in a little better of a start, but they were 3 outs away from being up 2-0.
Yeah, very true. It
So-
is. I don't know if confidence has to be shaken in Texas. I mean, Game 1's got to be a confidence booster, but you got to know that you could have lost that if it goes the other way.
I think the craziest part is what Merrill Kelly's done, because has he started a home postseason game? He got 2 on the road in Philly.
He might have started 1 against...
They were never home. They were the 6th seed.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have been, because they would have been on the road against the Dodgers.
He didn't get Game 3 against the Dodgers.
No, that was
He's
fall.
never pitched at home yet,
Wow.
and he won't.
Yeah.
He will not in this series either.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, and he's been a road warrior for them. I guess that goes to show that maybe that's his strength, is pitching on the road.
You were just saying how good his numbers have been, and the guy hasn't even been able to pitch in front of his home fans. It's been all hostile environments, and he's really just shoved.
Mm-hmm. And locking in on Game 3, Scherzer versus Fought tonight, we know how much of the story of the postseason has been scoring first. It'll be big on both of these pitchers.
Yeah.
One to stay good and one to wake up.
Definitely. I mean, Scherzer needs to control the game early. If he goes out there in front of the home fans in Arizona, and he just looks the way he has his first 2 games in the postseason for the Rangers, I mean, the D-backs will be all over him.
Mm-hmm. Been incredibly competitive baseball, aside from the 8th and 9th inning of last game, which, I mean, if you take that away,
Yeah.
it was only a 3-run deficit at that point, and then a extra innings walk-off in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean,
should be a very competitive series.
It's been fun so far, and we've definitely felt pressure from both sides put on each other, and both teams have responded. In that Game 1, they were going back and forth. Game 2 was a little more lopsided, but hey, it's a new day.
Yep,
They had a day off.
Yeah, a little travel day. Now they're going to be in Phoenix tonight, 8:03 tonight, folks. Lock in Monday Night Baseball. Should be a fun watch. And then Game 4 will be on Tuesday tomorrow. We'll pick this up on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun couple of games before we talk to you guys again on Wednesday, so strap in and get ready.
Thank you to everybody for watching and listening wherever you do. As always, it has been a joy to cover this postseason. Really fun one to watch.
Yeah, it's been an absolute thrill from the first pitch of the postseason. We've definitely enjoyed it, and we've hoped that you guys have enjoyed it as much as us.
And that was episode 43 of the 9 Frames podcast. It's Monday, October 30th, 2023. I've been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
Catch us always on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast, on X at 9 Frames Pod, and on Spotify at 9 Frames. And we're going to pick up on Wednesday we'll be 4 games into the World Series. Then Game 5 will be played. We are guaranteed to play Game 5.
Yeah.
And that will be Wednesday with a Game 1 rematch.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday, and there will be a maximum of 3 games possible left to play on that day.
Yeah, not a lot of baseball left to play, but there is one thing left to decide who hoists that trophy, man, and who will be your 2023 World Series champions.
Both teams have looked very hungry, so we'll see how these next 5 potential games play out, man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, enjoy your Monday, enjoy your beginning of the week, and enjoy all the great baseball ahead. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Have a great start to the week, everyone.